Hey scholars, I hope this video finds you well. Congrats on making it through Unit 1. Now we're going to move on to Unit 2 and we're going to talk about these things called transformations. We're going to talk about 4 total types of transformations in this unit, but we're going to start off by talking about 3 of them today. The first one is going to be translations. So a translation, the figure moves from left to right or up and down or any combination of those directions. When a figure is reflected, it can flip vertically, like up and down, or it can flip horizontally, left and right. And eventually we'll even talk about combinations of vertical and horizontal reflection. When a figure is rotated, it's like it spins. It can spin either clockwise or counterclockwise. Now this lesson should be pretty short, but make sure you're paying attention and taking good notes. Let's get going. So a transformation is a change in the position, size, or shape of a figure. Isometric transformations are specific types of transformations. They result in a new figure that is congruent to the original. That's why you might also hear isometric transformations called congruent transformations. There are 3 types. Translations, which is like a slide, moves a figure left, right, up, or down, or as I mentioned earlier, like any combination of those directions. A reflection, which we can think of as a flip, moves a figure across its line of reflection to its mirror image. Think about like looking in the mirror. It's a reflection, right? And you can see in this diagram right here, there's a line that it's reflecting across. Each point of this figure is the same distance on both sides. So let's just take this point right here. Let's say that it is about 3 inches away from that line of reflection. 3 inches. So this point right here, the matching point, would also be 3 inches away from that line. So that's how a reflection works. Now, a rotation is a turn. It moves a figure around a fixed point, which we call the point of rotation. Here, the point of rotation is right here on the figure. It can also be outside the figure or inside the figure. Right here, it's right on the figure. Transformation occurs. The original figure is called the pre-image. So this blue figure right here, or maybe that's purple, I'm a little colorblind, but that is the pre-image, EFG, triangle EFG. The resulting figure is called the image, which is that red triangle. We call that triangle E prime, F prime, G prime. That's what that little apostrophe means, prime. And we can use arrow notation to describe transformations, as you can see right here. We're saying that triangle EFG transforms to become triangle E prime, F prime, G prime. And what do you think that kind of transformation is? That's right, it's a reflection. It is being reflected horizontally across this line. Now let's try some problems together. We want to use arrow notation to describe the transformations. Then we want to identify what transformation is occurring from the pre-image to the image. So let's look at this first figure. We have rectangles here. We'll call the first one R, S, T, U. And it's transforming to become rectangle R prime, S prime, T prime, U prime. Now the transformation that is occurring is a rotation. And the point of rotation that it's rotating about is probably about right here. Now I probably didn't draw it perfectly, but this side UR should be the same distance from that point as the side U prime, R prime. Now let's move on to the second figure. Let's see, we have rectangle W, X, Y, Z, and it's transforming to become W prime, X prime, Y prime, Z prime. Now, something I failed to mention a second ago is that you need to write these letters in the same order when you're writing your arrow notation, so be careful about that. Now, what transformation is occurring from the pre-image to the image? Well, at first glance, it might look like just a translation. Looks like it might just be sliding down. But look at the positions of the letters here. We actually have a reflection. We have a vertical reflection, and it's reflecting across this horizontal line. You can see that it's flipping. So we have a reflection here. Now let's look at this last figure. We have rectangle MNOP, and it's transforming to become rectangle M prime, N prime, O prime, P prime. Well, this is simply a translation. We see that M and P are still at the top of the figure when they become M prime and P prime, and N and O are still at the bottom of the figure when we have N prime and O prime. So this is a translation. So I hope this video was helpful for you. It may have even seemed familiar from previous years of math class. Now, it's not going to always be this easy. We're going to take things a step further and look at them in the coordinate plane. But right now, just be able to identify translations, reflections, and rotations, and be able to describe them in arrow notation, and you should be just fine. Come to class prepared with questions and ready to work. Good work. Thank you, Collegiate Scholars.